Hello everyone, Alicia here with another Lighten Up Weight Watcher friendly recipe, and today's recipe is for air fryer onion rings. I got a request from one of my viewers to do onion rings and I am more than happy to do them. I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't done them on my channel before because I absolutely love them. I do them several different ways. The one I'm going to be showing you today is probably my favorite as far as lower calorie and Weight Watcher friendly. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. But big thanks to the viewer that requested these because again, I'm surprised I haven't done them before. But let me jump in and show you what you're going to need to make these. First off, you're going to need some all-purpose flour. You're going to need a half cup of that. And then here I've got some almond milk, plain unsweetened. I've got a half cup of this. And I'm going to be using this to make buttermilk with. I almost never have buttermilk on hand, so I always usually make my own. And it's very simple to do. All you do is a tablespoon of lemon juice or vinegar to a cup of whatever milk you're using. So I've got a half tablespoon of lemon juice here to make my buttermilk. You could also just use a low-fat buttermilk if you want to get that, you have it on hand. But again, I usually just always make my own. Next up, I've got a large sweet onion here. I like to use the sweet onions when I do onion rings, but you could use whatever type you want. This one is pretty big. You're looking for about 16 ounces or a pound as far as the onion goes. So you could use smaller ones, a big one like this, whatever you want to do. But again, you're looking for a pound, roughly. Next up, I've got some Panko breadcrumbs. Now this is the Safeway or Albertsons brand, the Signature Select. And I want to show you the nutritional info on these because I have noticed when it comes to breadcrumbs, that's one of the things that varies quite a bit depending on the brand that you get. So I wanted to show you what the nutritional info is on these specifically. I'm going to be using a cup, which is going to be 9 points total. I've seen breadcrumbs for a cup that are 12. I've seen them that are 6. So it just kind of depends on the brand you're using. A lot of times it doesn't. Like when you use a store brand like this, it's going to be very similar to the name brand. But in this case, there's a lot of variation. So I wanted to point that out. But you do need a cup of plain Panko breadcrumbs. Next up, I've got some Texas Pete hot sauce here. I'm gonna be just using a teaspoon of this. That's kind of optional. If you don't want hot sauce, you don't have to, but I like the little extra little kick that it gives these. You're gonna need 1 large egg, a half teaspoon paprika, half teaspoon granulated garlic, or you can use garlic powder, a teaspoon salt, and then finally you're gonna need some olive oil to spritz your air fryer with, and then also your onion rings. I've got factored into the recipe builder a tablespoon. I don't think I'm gonna actually be using that much, but I wanted to make sure I accounted for any extra points. So I've got this factored in at a tablespoon of olive oil. And that is everything that you're gonna need to make these. So let me get them started. First thing I'm gonna do is get my buttermilk going. So again, that's half cup almond milk. You could use skim milk, whatever type of milk you want. And I'm gonna add in my half tablespoon lemon juice. And then I'm gonna just whisk that in. And now I'm gonna let that set for at least 5 minutes and work on the rest of this. Next up, I've got a bowl here that's shallow. Hopefully that's picking up. I'm gonna be using 3 of these to do these because I just like using the shallow dishes. It seems to work better for this type of thing. So I'm going to add in my half cup flour, half teaspoon garlic, half teaspoon paprika, and my teaspoon salt. And then I'm gonna just whisk all of those together really well. Okay, now I'm gonna set that aside and get myself another one of these bowls. I'm gonna add in my cup of Panko, set that aside. And then finally in the third bowl, I'm gonna pour in my buttermilk that has been sitting for 5 minutes. And I'm gonna add in my egg and my teaspoon hot sauce. And then I'm gonna whisk that together. Now I'm gonna take a 1/3 cup of my flour mixture and add that in and whisk that in until it's smooth. Got that all whisked together, so I'm gonna set that aside and grab my onion. So for the onion, I like to just cut the ends off and then remove the outer peel. And now I'm gonna just make slices out of this about a 1/2 inch thick. Okay, I've got that sliced, and then you're gonna break them up into rings. A lot of the times I don't end up using all of my onion because I run out of batter first, but I still just break them all into rings and use as many as I can. Okay, I've got these pretty much ringed out. So now what I'm gonna do is get my air fryer preheating to 385. That is what my fry setting is on mine, and that's what I like to use for these. So I'm gonna get that preheating. You want it to be preheating at least, I don't know, probably a few minutes, 3 to 5. So I'm gonna get that going, and then I'm gonna start getting these all dipped and ready to go in the air fryer. Okay, I've got myself all set up here. I've got a piece of parchment paper back there where I'm gonna lay these when I'm done with them. And then again, my air fryer is preheating right there. So you're gonna hear that. But what I do is I just take a ring and just kind of dip it in the flour. I usually do these one at a time or a couple at a time, but I'm gonna do them one at a time just so you can see a little better. And then dip it in the egg mixture. And then finally the panko. And you're gonna just do that with all of these. And again, I'm gonna just lay these on the parchment. But I'm gonna get as many as I think will fit in done up right now, and then we'll get them cooking. I've got this many done, which is hopefully gonna fit in my air fryer here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those going in here. And again, I've got this preheated. It's been heating up for probably a good 5 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spritz the inside of my tray with some olive oil. Check this out so you can see. It is very hot. I'm gonna just lay these in here. Again, just fitting as many as I can. And one thing you can do, since this does take several batches kind of to do these, is you can line yourself a cookie sheet with parchment paper, and as these come out of the air fryer, you can put them on that cookie sheet and leave them in your oven at about 200 just to keep them warm if you want to have them all served at one time. So I got those in there, touching a little bit, but not too bad. So now I'm gonna put these in my air fryer. And actually I gotta give them a spritz of oil first. I'll just help them crisp up a little bit better. And now I'm gonna turn this back on, my fry setting, which again is 385 on my air fryer here. Now I've not done these in this specific air fryer, I've done them in my other one. So I'm gonna start off at about 5 minutes to check and see if they're ready to flip. You want to flip them about halfway through the cooking process. So I'm gonna check them at 5 minutes and see if they're ready to flip, but I will be back at that point. I also wanted to show you this. As you can see, when you get far enough along in the breading process here, the panko crumbs become pretty much non-usable. So what I'll do is I will just throw those out and refresh them with what looks like here probably a half cup more, because they're not going to stick anymore once they get to a certain point. So that's unfortunately kind of a waste, but they just don't stick after a little bit. If anybody has any tip for that, let me know, because I can't ever get mine to stick when they start to get gummy like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and refresh my breadcrumbs because I still have quite a bit of the other two left. So we're at the 5 minute mark right now, and I took a look at these to see if they were ready to flip. And I forgot my kasori that I have here. It's got dual elements, so it's got them on the bottom and the top, which means you don't really have to flip your food in this one. I was thinking of my other one where you do. So I'm not gonna flip these. I'm gonna just continue to let them cook a little bit longer until they're done. But if you don't have an air fryer that's got the dual elements, you are going to want to flip them so that that other side gets nice and cooked as well. So I'm gonna let these continue on, and then I will be back and let you know exactly how long they took. I let these cook a total of 8 minutes. They are looking and smelling done, so I'm gonna take them out, put them on a plate. And again, if you want to keep them warm as you're cooking your other ones, you can put them in the oven at 200. But I'm gonna continue on my journey here, get the rest of these done, and then I'll be back. I also wanted to show you this real quick, that one way to get more in there is to just put the little ones inside the big ones. I wanted to show you what I ended up with onion-wise. Definitely got some extra there. And then here's what I've got left for all the battering. Used most of it, and so that's why I'm gonna call that good on the onions. Okay, I got all these done. This is what I ended up with. Decent amount. So I have these factored in at a quarter of them is going to be 5 points. The best way to figure out what that would be to obviously weigh them and then divide that by 4, because these are all different sizes. But a quarter is 5 points, which is not too bad. Now we've had these before. It's been a long time though. So I'll have my hubby taste them and tell you what he thinks of them. Okay, I got my hubby here.
All right.
Now, he does not like ketchup. I like to dip mine in ketchup because, well, sugar-free ketchup for basically no points extra. He's going for the ranch.
There's no good way to do it.
There is no good way to eat an onion ring, so I won't focus on your face. So just take a bite. I hear crunch. That's always good.
Onion rings, of course, are different. Everyone's going to be different.
Yeah.
I've had really crispy ones out in the world and some softer ones. Mm-hmm. These have a really nice coating, really satisfying crunch.
Yeah, they do have a nice crunch.
The breading gives it a nutty or a hearty flavor.
Yeah.
Like grainy. So that would be nutty, right?
Yeah.
And then, the onion.
Sweet onions. I like to use the sweet.
Yeah, no, really good flavor. And they're not really super soft, which is also helping them keep their shape. I've had those too where you pick them up and they just
fall apart.
Yeah.
They flop over.
Yeah. So, these are, I've always enjoyed these. So if you're wanting some sort of like fast food or an appetizer and you want it to be healthier, I don't think anybody would be disappointed in these.
No, I love them. I'm not eating them now because I'm currently fasting, but
I might have another one.
I'm going to stick them. If you want to reheat these, just stick them right back in the air fryer and just heat them up a little bit more, and they do crisp up a little bit more when you do that. Now, obviously, they're best as they are now, right out of the air fryer. I love that crunch sound. But yeah, you can definitely reheat them, which is what I'm going to do later today.
And so I have a hard time biting through things. Mm-hmm. And so because the onion's not super soft, I can bite through it, which is really more enjoyable for me.
Well, and that's kind of personal preference. Obviously, if you want your onion super soft, you're going to want to cook them a little bit longer. And everybody's air fryer is different too. So, my time is going to be for mine, and it's kind of just a rough estimate. You want to watch yours and see how they cook in there.
Yeah.
But I'll link my air fryer down below though, just so you guys have a reference as to what mine is. And but we love these. I wouldn't say they are easy. They're kind of a pain. I will say that. Anytime it comes to breading something, I'm not the biggest fan of that. It makes a big mess. It's a little bit of a pain. But I think they're worth it because they do satisfy that kind of fast food craving. If you've got one for onion rings, this will probably do that for you. But anyway, I hope the viewer that requested these enjoys these if you try them, as well as the rest of you. If you try these, let me know in the comment section below. Also, be sure to check the description box where you will find ingredients, instructions, points, calories, macros, additional nutritional information, as well as www recipe builder links. Or link for this recipe. I do that for all of my recipes I have for the last 2+ years now. So all that information is always going to be down in the description box. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.